What's going on, baby? And man, oh man, it's a beautiful day because it's Thursday. Let's get man. We got some shit to talk about. Ya tú-
What it do? What it do? Yeah, I'm excited. I know it's Thursday, but I'm excited for Friday.
Oh yeah, what's because we get those new AAA IPs coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, Pokemon Snap. I'm all about it.
I knew that. I knew it. Man, solid so far, bro. Honestly, man, I don't know why, but I just got this. I've been having this big like chip on my shoulder, like this big chip on my shoulder, and like in the sense of like I have this weird sense of immense pride being a minority dog. I don't know what it is, bro. Like I just this week, I was watching that before the show, but like that just kind of added on to it. I just been crazy pumped, like like yo, I'm Hispanic. What's good? Like get out my way, you know,
Oh my God!
bro. I've been strong with it, bro. I've been strong with it this week. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this week I got back into anime, so I've just been a hermit.
You know, here's what? I mean, dollar sign ass before the show. Well, we should have done a sound check.
Yeah, they can't hear you or Nova, so it's your mic,
Do
whatever
you
you
have
have your source to.
your task cam on? Let me see. It's gonna be loud coming from my shit. Let me mute myself.
And also, audio also kind of sounds weird too.
Now they can't hear you. I can't hear you. Well, guys, this wouldn't be the Insomniacs podcast without a few technical difficulties, as you can see.
Don't say that.
So, guys, in the chat, tell me how your day was.
All right. Hopefully that did something. That should fix my issue. Say something, guys.
Hello.
Yeah, what's it called? Dollar sign said turn it down a little bit.
Oh, just me. I was loud.
All right. Y'all should be able to hear me right now. And if y'all didn't hear me before, I got something to tell y'all.
As I'm the live stream dog.
Welcome back to the Insomniacs podcast for another electrifying show this week. We're going to go over a lot of topics. We got some great people in here. Shout out to Zombilla. Shout out to Ronan. We were having some audio issues, but now we should be back and ready to go. Let's motherfucking get it. CoolHand, I know you don't like to introduce yourself twice, man, but let me get some sugar.
Nah, man, shit, it's cool, baby. You know, I got that big minority energy, dog. Big Latino energy today, man. This week I've been strong with it, bro. My Latin pride on 1,000, bro. Aquí estamos. You feel me?
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. We back in here, man. We back in here. It's great morning. Just making sure my sound effects work. You know what I'm saying? Had to bruh myself. All right. He says he hears all three. He says garbage. I'm literally a garbage man. Hey, ain't no knocking your hustle, man. One of my best friends is a garbage man, but he's still, you know what I'm saying, eyeing the crypto life. So that don't mean shit. That don't mean shit. Yeah, no shame in your game. Next up, dollar sign. I know you hate giving intros again, man, but can we get one more intro from the dollar sign himself?
It's stated in my contract. One intro a week.
Oh, damn. Damn.
Bruh.
I'll take that as an intro.
All right. In that case, let's start the motherfucking show, guys. I know we're having some audio issues before, but yeah, it's been a great week. A couple things happened the past week since we talked to you guys last. We've had Mortal Kombat come out. I saw that after the show last week, and boy, was that a movie. It was a very fun experience if you weren't taking it too seriously. But yeah, it was an action movie. The action was good. The gore was okay. I was overall satisfied with it. What about y'all in the chat? What do y'all think about Mortal Kombat? Cool.
I thought the choreography was a little stiff, only because, and it's not anyone's fault. I think it's just because the prosthetics they were using and the costumes they were using were probably, they probably hindered them in terms of movement a little bit. So I thought like some of the choreography was a bit stiff, especially when like that guy Colt, whatever his name was.
The most boring protagonist I've seen in a while.
For sure.
So boring.
For sure. I hope he dies in the next one so we can have Johnny Cage just step up.
Yeah, me too. Zambilla, he said Boricua. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna drop one for you, man. I'm gonna drop one for you. Shout out to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Dominican, Boricua, Hondureño, wherever you from, man. You know, you got a home here at the Insomniacs podcast. I just want to make sure my Lil John works real quick. And not that Lil John, y'all sick ass bastards are thinking about. I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Wait, so Dollar, what you think about the Mortal Kombat movie?
This punk hasn't
I
seen
still
it.
haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I mean, I told you I'm busy on the anime.
That's true.
I've just been watching all that anime. Watched Demon Slayer, Jujutsu. I'm on Villain Saga. I'm about to start Yasuke.
Oh, hell no.
Yasuke just dropped today.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm actually about to be watching today. Lakeith Stanfield is going to be the voice actor for it. You know?
Yeah, and Flying Lotus did the soundtrack, and Flying Lotus is dropping the album tonight.
What?
Really? Is it a Yasuke soundtrack?
Yeah, the album's called Yasuke.
Oh, that's fire.
Zambilla said Hero Academy. Bro, I fell off anime a while ago, but don't get me wrong, I'm still definitely an anime fan. Just a lot of the animes that I like are from the 90s, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't catch up with what's going on now.
There's like a renaissance going on right now. Like all the new stuff that's coming out the past like 2 years has just been like so much fire.
Yeah,
a little more than 2 years, man.
What about Demon Slayer?
It's been like 5-6 years. There have been banger after banger, but the thing is, it's been sprinkled in. It's like one show 1 year, another show another year. But like the last 3 years, I'll say, has been consistent. Where it's just like in 1 year, there's just been consistent bangers after bangers after banger.
Yeah,
like one month I'll hear about one anime, then the next month's like, oh, it's another one, and I'm like, oh shit, I got like.
Yo, tell me about Demon Slayer. I keep hearing that I should watch that. Is that a part of is that a standalone movie or is that like a series?
No. It's an entire series. The movie ties into the series, so you're not going to get like that Dragon Ball nonsense in which like the movies have nothing to do with the actual.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, so the movies are actually canon in this sense. So you have Demon Slayer. It's based in like feudal Japan, but there's a lot of mysticism to it. So I don't want to tell you. I can't really tell you what it's about without kind of spoiling it.
Yeah, I mean the anime has a cold open, so just go in blind.
All right, I'll take that. I still need to catch up on fucking Castlevania on Netflix.
Oh.
But okay, cool catch up, guys. I want to get
Oh,
before I move on.
Hold on, before that, have you watched the Lupin the Third CGI movie by Studio Ghibli?
No, I've only
Oh,
seen the
crap.
old show.
Trailer I sent you?
See,
Oh,
what
man.
Zombilla's talking about in the chat, Cowboy Bebop. See, that's my shit. My favorite anime of all time, bar none, is Outlaw Star. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Toonami kid.
Yeah, for me it was Big O.
Big
It was
O
like-
too. That was one of Big O. The story in Big O, insane.
Yeah, he was mech Bruce Wayne, dog. He was a robot. He was a Japanese version of Bruce Wayne. I loved it.
Hey, shout out to my boy Black Rain in the chat. I'm gonna drop an air horn for you. Salty is gaming. Our brother's back home from the hospital, man. We wish you a speedy and healthy recovery. Shout out to Salty. I'm gonna drop an air horn for you.
Better in these gaming streets, brother, man. Just stay in good health.
Yeah, man. Good to have Salty on. Everyone check out Salty at Salty is Gaming on YouTube. Has a great show. I've been on his show before. Still need and again, Salty, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I haven't had any guests on this year. Promise we're going to get you on. I want to get, I need to get back in the swing of things. We just wanted to kind of reestablish ourselves in the space because we took a little break. But yeah, guys, Cool Hand, let's go into your expertise. Let's talk about this game of the week coming out.
Man, we got 2 notable games coming out Thursday to Thursday, man. And you already know what these are. And they all come out tomorrow, man. So coming out tomorrow, April 30th, to end out the month, is 2 games. Starting with Pokemon Snap, coming out for the Nintendo Switch. And the much anticipated first AAA game for the PS5, Returnal, dropping April 30th.
We're going to get into it.
Yeah, man. So the review embargo was lifted today, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But man, I'm definitely gonna cop Returnal. Probably not day one because I'll be in California tomorrow, so I won't have a chance to play it. So I'll probably just wait till I get back. But man, yeah, and those are the notable games coming out from Thursday to Thursday. Bruh.
Let's get it. Did someone say Pokemon Snap though, man? I might have to get that. I might low-key have to get that just because the nostalgia.
I feel like that's like a kind of like another like Animal Crossing, where you're just kind of like chill. You're just wandering around, taking pictures of Pokemon. It's just like a good time.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty cute.
I need some of that nostalgia powder in my life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's nothing that tops a lot of these old N64 memories, man. I swear to God, these games are fucking amazing.
Well, I'm still waiting on Pokemon Stadium, bro.
Oh yeah, give us a new Pokemon Stadium.
I don't know why we're getting Pokemon Snap when they could have just given me Stadium.
Hold on, I just need to do another shout out to my homie Cody Gallo in the chat, aka Angel Boy.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's get into the fucking topics, guys. Let's get into this. What do y'all want to start off? We can start off with, let's start off with something kind of smaller, and then we'll get into some of the larger topics in a little bit. So let's talk about these PS Plus games. So this month we have Wreckfest coming out, the PS5 version, right? We're getting it a month earlier than if you didn't have PS Plus. We're getting Stranded Deep, which looks really cool, and Battlefield 5. That's fucking dope. What do you guys think about this, man? Again, it's a month after month. Next show, we're gonna next full show we do, we're gonna have something where we're gonna have all the months stacked up for the past year. We just been getting fucking bangers, man. Yeah, what do you guys think about these games? You guys excited for us?
I'm excited for Wreckfest, man. Wreckfest, I know it's a derby. It's one of those crash derby games. You can, and it's just I was
he doesn't have the words to tell y'all.
Yeah, so it's one of those games where you can sorry, I'm getting WoW. I'm just not in it right now.
Yeah. You said you're getting into WoW?
I'm brain farting like a motherfucker.
I can tell, man. I can tell. Okay, cool, man.
So Wreckfest is basically a derby game in which you can crash into other cars. There's some modes where you can where you can race and crash into other cars, where you're in this kind of bowl and crash into other cars, and you kind of inflict damage, and the car, as much as you crash into the other car, gets, battered and battered and battered until it blows up.
So what you're telling me is it's an adult version of name just slipped my head. Something else. What is it called?
What's it
what
called?
is that Sony racer game that was cool for like 2 seconds? The one that you tried to get me to get on, that I just played one match and I was like, I'm good with this.
I'm not Wreckfest. I said Wreckfest.
Destruction All Stars.
Yeah, Destruction All Stars. So this is an adult version of Destruction All Stars. Is what you're telling me? With less parkour.
Yeah, in a sense, without the gimmicks. But there's some cool things, like people can drive a couch and crash the couch. Somebody's driving like.
You said no gimmicks, and then you talking about someone driving the couch.
It's pretty funny,
There
man. It's not like as gimmicky as like having a whole bunch of blades spinning in a car, or like being explosive, or when you're driving, flames are coming out. Like, nah, it's nothing like that.
Okay.
Like, there's no powers and shit,
Yeah. So the game I'm actually excited to play is Battlefield 5. I saw Zombilla and Chai said I like chill games just as a palate cleaner. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though Battlefield 5 is not chill game and it's not something that's up my alley, I love getting like first person shooters for free, man. So even though I wouldn't, this is a game I didn't buy and I probably wouldn't have. You know me. I'm the noob over here. I like to fire up that campaign, right? Multiplayer players don't know. Y'all forgot what a campaign is, right? What happened to that? What happened to people who used to beat the story mode first and then jump online? Huh? What happened to us? We died. Anyways, I'm more excited for Battlefield 5, to be honest, than I am for Wreckfest. I am excited though to see whatever the updated graphics of Wreckfest are looking like, but yeah.
Well, I mean, Wreckfest is a fun game that we can actually stream together or play together, especially because it's free. Even though I would have given this game my money.
Okay.
I've seen gameplay on it, and it just looks really fun. I know some people that actually have played it and have really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and Stranded Deep also looks pretty cool as well. Again, it's free. Why not check it out? It's part of your library, where you throw it in the back of the backlog or in the front. It's cool. We're getting quality games from Sony for another month. Big surprise there, right? This is what we're
I think
pretty much used to.
The only game I would get is probably Stranded Deep, just because I enjoy like a good survival game.
Yep.
But Wreckfest, no. Battlefield 5, no. Yeah, I mean, I got Battlefield 5 for free, so I don't know if you know this, but the very first RTX NVIDIA game that had ray tracing was Battlefield 5.
That's
really?
a fact. That's a
Yeah.
fact. Yeah.
So like when I got my my 2080 like 3 years ago, like that's when like RTX came out, and that was pre DLSS. So like this was like the worst. Like Battlefield 5 was the worst showcase of ray tracing, because the second you turn it on,
5 frames per
the
second.
game just went complete shit. Like you could not play the game. It just became like, unplayable with how bad the FPS was. It was like Cyberpunk.
It's fact.
And like it put like a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth on ray tracing. They're like, it's not worth the performance drop. And that was like a big narrative for ray tracing for like over a year afterwards, because of how bad that initial rollout was.
Yeah, I remember that. DLSS really changed the game. And like we talked about, so DLSS, again, is an NVIDIA technology that uses AI super sampling to essentially bring up the graphics while not compromising frame rates. And like we talked about last episode, AMD has their own version called Super Resolution, if I'm not wrong.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, I mean, that made a big difference. But yeah, drop in the chat, which one of these games you guys are excited for, all of them, none of them, etc. But in my opinion, it's another solid month from Sony, where we're getting fucking banger games, man. So enough on that. Let's before we get into, one thing I wanted to cover was, Xbox.
How does it compare? Wait, before you go on, how does it compare to next month's Game with Gold?
I got one thing for that. That's
Do you
people
wanna
waiting
run
for Games of Gold.
do you wanna run through what games is Gold having next month?
Okay, we also gotta throw in one game that wasn't part of PlayStation Plus, but is free for everybody.
Right now?
Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition.
Oh, how did we miss that?
Well, that came out this month. That didn't come out.
Yeah. I mean, it's been out for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
It came out mid-April, and it's gonna be out till mid-May.
It came out the 27th.
If you have not played Horizon Zero Dawn, play that shit. It is amazing. My only one takeaway from that game, because I beat it, didn't get too far in the DLC, but the world is a little too big for its own good. Like you guys heard me say on the show before, Ghost of Tsushima, in my opinion, has the perfect balance between open world and shit to do in that open world, right? One of my biggest gripes with Red Dead 2, it's just this big world. Don't get me wrong, there are things sprinkled out. They did a decent job of that, but it wasn't in the sense of Ghost of Tsushima where the world doesn't feel boring because everything has a purpose, right?
Yeah,
I
so
just felt like in Red Dead you were just going out for fucking miles and there was nothing to do, you know?
Yeah. So they kind of sprinkle a whole bunch of side quests and stuff within Ghost of Tsushima to give you stuff to do while you're going to your next place.
Exactly, right? So you feel like you're not going too far without actually bumping into something. So like something fun to do. So
that's something most time being a bird or a fox.
You're right. Which they kind of overdid it a little bit on the foxes. No, but the birds would bring you to like a random thing, right?
Sometimes it was like a side quest or some like item like a headband or
yeah,
the haiku spots.
It's not just walking. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
well, yeah, go ahead.
It's walking with the purpose of that because
Yeah.
you have all these things to do within the game, and you're right, to the detriment. Horizon Zero Dawn and Red Dead didn't do that.
It just felt too big, and if you get to the part in Horizon, which no spoilers here, but if you get to the point where you get to like the main city in the game, right? It's fucking.
They had enough time.
It's beautiful. It's crazy big. You look at you're sitting back like a couple miles where you're looking at the city from far away. You're like, damn, that looks impressive. But then like the time it takes you to actually get there, and like again, the world is massive, but a little too much.
Do you think they would? You think, I guess, since this was a detriment to, and it's, like I said, Horizon Zero Dawn was still a great game, but to its detriment, the world was too big. Do you think this would be something that they would learn in the sequel?
Either they'll have a similar type game world where it's more packed, because I think anyone who's at Sony can clearly see from Ghost of Tsushima that they had the perfect balance. So if they give you more meaningful side quests and more meaningful shit to find in between, I definitely think they're gonna do well. Don't get me wrong; it's not like it didn't have stuff; it did. But like how Far Cry was for me, it just was too big. I had too much time where I was like going from one place to the next, and I'm like, damn, it's really taking me fucking all this time to get to this one place just to do this one quest. And there was nothing. There was just land and robots,
Yeah, and for Horizon Zero Dawn 2, like from the promo vid, it seems like there might be like some like underwater open world areas too, which I don't know how traversing underwater is going to be like.
Yeah. John Bella said games with charcoal. Pretty much, man. Yeah, Forbidden West is definitely going to be something that's on everyone's radar. I know the hype for that's going to be insane. But you guys want to cover State of Play? Should we get into it?
Yeah. What you mean? Do we want to? Shit, we got to.
Let's oh shit, wrong scene. Let's get into State of Play. So as you'll see on your screen, so I checked out State of Play. There was an indie. I can't even remember the indie game they showed. It was a PS4 game. Looked cool. Pretty much, there's a PS5 version. Okay, big fucking whoop. The star of the show,
Subnautica.
Yeah, the star of the show is what we're looking at right now. Yeah, Subnautica. Thank you. The star of the show is what we're looking at now. Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, and boy, oh boy, did a lot of people have things to say about this. A lot of good things, and depending on who you ask, a lot of bad things. But this is.
I didn't see any of the bad things.
No, I mean, come on, you know who's saying the bad things, but from what I seen in this trailer or in this gameplay video, whatever you want to call it, dude, this is the most detailed Ratchet game, obviously, ever. But I think it takes it up a notch because the Ratchet and Clank games, they always looked good. There was always a good amount of detail, but nothing like this. This is going into that next level and making it, how can we make this world a little more realistic, right? These games used to be way more cartoony, and now we're getting...
I mean, I said that when they made the remake 4 years ago. I was like, how do they make this game look so good? Like, it looks like a Pixar movie, and now even more stuff.
Oh, yeah. Now it's another notch up.
Yeah. The cool thing about this is
ray
that
tracing.
I can't tell what's a cutscene and what's the gameplay.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
All in
Like,
engine, man.
It looks seamless. Like when you go from a cutscene to the gameplay, it just looks seamless at this point. It doesn't look like it doesn't look any different. You see? Like right now. Like this looks beautiful.
Yeah. Just the huge city. And the fact that like traveling in between worlds was always a theme in the series, right? That's actually something that was always amazing because they always kept it fresh. You know, very rarely would you go back to the same planets. And I just hope they bring back the suits. I love the suits, man. I'm trying to think.
Oh, no, they did. They did.
Yeah. Going Commando was one of my favorite ones. I still need to. I might actually do a stream of Going Commando. That game has like the adult jokes in it. I might rock with that, man.
Well, even the actual like the first Ratchet and Clank game before the remake, you know, it had a lot of innuendos. Like the original.
Yeah, dude, a lot of the game. And keep in mind, for the PS2 and PS3, there were a ton of Ratchet and Clank games. Like there's some today you still cannot play unless you have at least a backwards compatible PS3.
And Up Your Arsenal.
Yeah. Oh, Up Your Arsenal.
Up
that
Your
was a good one,
Arsenal.
too. And
I got that.
they had these exactly. They had these quasi adult innuendos. Up Your Arsenal, for example. It's a great one.
Yo, I want to hear in the chat. Drop your favorite Ratchet and Clank games. Well, I want to have a little discussion on this. But yeah, I agree with Captain Crunch in the chat. Shout out to you, Captain Crunch. This game looks bonkers, right? I can't stop looking at all the damn reflections in the water, man. And again, it's not going to really add to the gameplay, but we know what these games are about. It's about shooting motherfuckers. It's about having all these different guns, upgrading your guns, right? Getting enough bolts to like go back and upgrade your shit. Like one of the most amazing feelings is when you're like, oh damn, I just went to the vendor. I see a new gun there, has some crazy name, and then you go around trying to get all these bolts to come back and buy that. Weirdly enough, I don't like microtransactions or any of that pay to play bullshit, but I have like some weird thing like when a game has a vendor, I just go crazy. I'm just like, oh shit, I gotta make the money. Let's get it. So I'm really looking forward to like doing that in this game, man.
Get that Raritanium.
Exact. Thank you. Right. Oh, yo, shout out to Capono. Hope you're doing well as well, brother. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna throw something out for you. Thank you, man. I love to see the regulars in here, man. I love to see it, man. But yeah, like how they have the wet fur and all this, man. I'm excited as hell for this game. I don't care what anyone says. It's a kid game, whatever. Man, I grew up on this shit. I know a lot of you guys did too. So yeah, I'm super excited. I was hoping for like a little teaser of something else at the end of State of Play, but you know, we didn't get it.
We knew what it was. We knew what it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we knew that Ratchet and Clank was going to be at the forefront, considering that it comes out in June. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm satisfied from what I saw. I'm satisfied that I got to see more of the gameplay, a little more cutscenes. They didn't really spoil too much. It just made me want the game more.
Oh yeah,
like this was enough.
Day one.
I mean,
this is a day one cop for sure.
Oh, definitely day one cop. And I just love the fact that we're actually going to be able to see what the PS5 can do. You know what I mean?
SSD though.
Yeah, the SSD is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is like the opposite of Returnal, you know, because in Returnal, like you're a person in a world full of aliens just dodging like bullet hell. But in Ratchet and Clank, you're the one making the bullet hell.
Okay, that's true. Oh, and I know they're gonna hit the dual sense with something different on this, man. With all the different guns, once you pull out that shotty, whoo!
Oh my god, I honestly
cannot
can't wait to like.
Yeah, they talked about that a bit during the state of play. Like the pistol, if you pull the trigger halfway, it does like precision single shot. But if you pull the trigger all the way, it does like fully automatic. The shotgun, I think they talked about before, where if you do it halfway, it's a double barrel shotgun, so it'll only shoot one barrel. But if you do all the way, it's double barrel. I think there's a lot of stuff like that in this game.
There you go. It's good to see that somebody's really utilizing this, man. And I'm sure we're going to see it more and more. See, I'll be honest with you. PlayStation has had a lot of controller gimmicks over the years that never panned out, right? I think it's a little bit different with DualSense, right? Because we were already used to the rumble feature in controllers. And the features I'm talking about from the other consoles are like the 6-axis, right? How they try to like compete with Wii in the whole motion controller space, and no one used that shit, right? A handful of games used it. Warhawk, it was definitely one of them. That was like a big.
The Ratchet and Clank games back in the day used it.
Yeah,
they did.
Mm-hmm.
In what aspect?
The flying. I think there's some games where you get a flying ability if you like touch something or something. It was like some dinosaur planet, and you fly with the 6-axis controller, and you control it by like moving the controller around with accelerometer.
You know what? And that was like the application I saw for that pretty much all the time. It's like, oh, you got a 6-axis. Well, if you're gonna fly some ship in some game, they'll probably give you the option to use that. But it felt gimmicky. It was like, okay, like my controller, it doesn't feel. It's not like a Wii controller, right? It's a controller, right? So the fact that they kind of went back to the drawing board and like, hey, how can we improve Rumble? And they just made something completely different.
Yeah. I'm playing Sly 4 right now, and there's like these he's Bentley. He has like his mini games to hack.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a mini game where it's basically like you're controlling a ball. You have to roll the ball into the node, and they use 6-axis for that.
I just want to point out something that
Echo right
now. Echo?
Yeah.
I don't hear no echo. Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys hear an echo on us. I do want to mention something that someone said. Zombilla said that crappy dragon game. He's talking about Lair for PS3. I remember that. You'd be on the back of a dragon. You're over here jumping off, Game of Thrones style. And yo, shout out to Danny in the chat.
Okay.
That's for you, bro.
Yeah. I will say, I'm gonna agree with Capono on this one, man. Ratchet and Clank is definitely the first game I've seen that you can't run it on PS4.
Hell no, and that's a great point, Capono. Yeah, no, not what they're doing with this, and I'm glad to see it. Like I know, like Cool Hand, you had some opinions about like I don't want them to be, have all these cross-gen games, and this is the first game we're seeing that's just like, hey, this is for the new hardware. If you don't have a PS5, we're sorry about it, right? Everyone's going through the console woes, can't get their hands on it.
First game for the next-gen hardware.
Oh, that is true. But yeah, man, I knew it just takes time for them to say, hey, is it worth dropping this only on PlayStation as like a showcase game? And we're there now. We're past that little hump. Of course, we're going to still see games coming on the PS4. In my opinion, they're still going to sell the PS4 for another year or two at least. They're going to pump out as many PS4s. You're going to see PS4s for $180 on sale. I mean, they're going to move all that stock they have, man, because it's cheaper to produce now more.
They sold 1 million PS4s last year, right? Like a little bit over 1 million.
Yeah, we're going to get into the stats about the earnings call probably after this, but yeah, there were a lot of PlayStation accolades to discuss, and we're also going to go over the Xbox earnings call and all that fun stuff.
Look at this scene right here, man. Like when you're playing at the female Wombats, like this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like this is This is cool. Just the entire environment. I just love the stretch of imagination that I get to see in this game, and I
Yeah.
just love. I love how something old is gonna feel new again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, again, we were just looking at the vendors, man, going through, figuring out what you're gonna buy. I love it. Because you could have that one thing you get early, and you have to make that decision. Hey, should I buy this or that? What tools do I
And
need?
when you can make something old feel new, man, that's magic, right?
Yeah. We got a new character too. It just good vibes, man. I know this is something everyone's been waiting for. And I'm excited as hell for it. If you ask me. Let me see here. All right, we're 53 minutes through. Let's actually no, fuck it. Let's talk about Returnal, man. Let's talk about these damn meta scores, yo. Y'all see it on the screen. Y'all see it. Just to start off, we're gonna go over our predictions from last week to kind of compare with how it turned out. I'll start off. I thought I would get an 83. I wasn't far off. So, yeah, it looks like Returnal's a fucking great game, apparently. And I do plan on picking it up. Dollar Sign, what was your prediction?
I also thought it was going to be low 80s. It's a indie studio, first AAA game, but I should have known. Like when PlayStation was like, we're gonna delay this game another like 2 months, I should have known they were just gonna, put that extra layer of polish on, make it look real nice, like good next gen game. From all the reviews I've been seeing, I haven't seen anyone complain about bugs, so it seems like it's it's good to go.
Yeah. I'll get to the comment in a second. Cool Hand, well, I know you shot a little bit high, but hey.
Yeah, I said between an 88 and a 90. But I wasn't, I wasn't that far off. I went just 4 points over. So I'm not too mad. This is definitely still a game that I want to get. Again, not day one because I'm not going to be in town, but I'm gonna get it when I get back because it looks good. It looks fun. It's the first true next gen game. I have to try it out myself. You know what I mean?
Yep. And I do want to say, now that you got that off, Zombilla, yo, thanks for pulling up, man. Appreciate you being here. Again, like Zombilla says, hit that motherfucking like, share that motherfucking video, send this to a friend who might be into video games, but who's not like that deep into video games, who might just like the vibes. And I just want to get some of these Returnal comments in. Capono says, you think Jeff Grubb was just being honest? He kind of gave it a really low score. I saw that. He gave it like a 6 out of 10 or 60. So me and Coolhand,
different strokes for different strokes, man.
Yeah, exactly. He seemed like, it was, I don't know. It's weird because I did.
It just seemed like he just was like too much of an old man to figure it out. Like he was complaining about the dumbest things. In my opinion, it was like, oh, like the helmet is kind of has a thing on it or makes it hard to read things, and I die too much, and it's just I don't know. His complaints just didn't really resonate with me.
That's what I'm talking about. Dollar sign. Go for the net.
I was reading that review and I was just like, this man is down bad. But hey, it's okay to have your own opinion. Not everyone's gonna like the same thing, and hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, but hold on. Let's be honest. There's a difference between like a valid opinion with actual things behind it, or like, and then like just being contrarian just to be a contrarian.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And he has been getting a lot of
and
buzz.
Just by the review, it just seemed that way, in my opinion.
Yep. Yo, Mariano, what's going on, man? Shout out to you. Captain Crunch Affiliate, man, says Returnal $60 would be an impulse buy. We'll wait a while on that. And hey, again, if it's something that you can wait on it. I wouldn't be surprised if we get this as a PS Plus game next year.
So check it out. So since we got the actual critic score, what are your guesses for the review score when the embargo lifts up tomorrow?
What are you talking? Oh, you talking about user?
Yeah.
I think for the most part they're usually close, unless they're review bombing this game, which they might. I think it's gonna get somewhere around the same, like mid 80s.
I'm gonna still shoot high. I'm gonna say 88, 90.
Yeah, and you know what? That's fair because people who really like a game, will go out to actually rate it. If you don't really give a fuck about a game that much, you're not gonna go and rate it, you know. But I do like how Returnal is it's more than skin deep, right? You know, there's a story behind there. You know that there's more to this character, right? There's some stuff where she's like hallucinating. She's getting fucked with like the aliens or whatever. So I like to see that dynamic and how like when you die, you know, wake up. Like I'm really interested in this game, man. You know what? I was gonna say.
I like the audio tapes that you find. It's just kind of like recordings that's from a different run that you've done in the past. So it kind of like messes with these. Like, how many times has she been like doing this, trying to get out of here, dying, because she's finding like these recordings of things she's like trying to tell herself from previous runs,
like Groundhog Day,
and it makes sense because every time you die, you know, the level is not the same. You know, it always changes. The landscape always changes. So basically, like these tapes kind of fit the aesthetic of what the game is like throughout.
No, that's facts.
Yeah. So Nova, for you,
and that's how Hades is like, right? Because like in Hades, it's exact same style of game, a roguelike, where you die, you start again, and you die, you start again with like small incremental upgrades throughout each runs, and like throughout each run, you just get like a little tiny bit of lore and story, like a little bit more dialogue from the characters you meet. You have to give them gifts. You have to give each character you meet gifts, and when you give them a gift, they give you some dialogue and lore.
The enemies spawn in places, or they spawn in different places?
Oh, them spawning in different places is a trait of roguelike games. So all roguelike games are like this.
Got it.
So like Dead Cells, Returnal, Hades, they all kind of share that same mechanic.
So, so my next question, I know this. I know that the embargo is up now, right? So after seeing all the reviews and learning more about the game itself, is this a day one cop for you guys?
Oh yeah, I said it earlier. Yeah, it's definitely day one cop for me. I'll be buying.
I'm about to preload it right now once this podcast is over.
Nice.
There you go. Captain says the levels seem a little barren, but that gameplay looks like a ton of fun. That's what I'm saying, man. I think this is gonna be one of those games where, at face, people are gonna be like, it looks cool, but judging by the reviews, this is a game. Once you get it in your hands, it's a different vibe. It's super action packed, way better than Outriders.
I would
Fuck that trash
with
game.
that because like they've been saying like this game, it encourages exploration because like if you just try to run through levels, you're not gonna have like really high like upgrades for your weapons and stuff. So you have to like go around, seek out enemies to like get XP,
like farm.
Because you have to farm. You have to search around to find like hidden chests and whatnot, artifacts to like parasites to boost your stats on your passive stats and your weapon stats. So it's a lot of exploration too.
You know what the levels kind of remind me of? And this is kind of random. This reminds me of Destiny 1, like any level that had anything to do with the Vex. And Vex, if you don't know, from Destiny, are like these like a robot race. It's like a hive mind. But doesn't this kind of give you like Vault of Glass vibes a little bit?
Yeah, definitely the first bio.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is gonna be cool, man. I think it's gonna be a hit with the fans. It might be something, again, just at face value, people might say, with third person, people might be biased. Oh, it's a lady lead character, any bullshit like that. But I think once the community co-signs this, as in like, yo, I love this game, you gotta fucking play it. I think it'll start to push a little bit more because I feel some of the people in the chat and just people I know, they're kind of on the fence about this game. They're like, it's either like I'm gonna love it or I'm gonna hate it. So
So
yeah.
all right. So let's see. Final user Metacritic scores. What is your predictions? Nova, you first.
Bruh.
Solid. Give me a solid number. Give me a solid number.
What do you?
And just to help, user reviews are done from a scale of 0 to 10.
Okay, so you're asking me for my own personal user review before I even played it? Was that what you're asking me, sir?
No, bro. I'm thinking, what do you think is going to be the overall user score compared to the actual meta score?
Bruh.
Bro, I told you this literally 3 minutes ago.
No. You said low 80s. No, give me a number.
You asked me to choose from a number from 1 to 100? All right, I'm gonna say 87.
Okay.
Very political.
Dallas. What about you?
I'm gonna say 9.2.
Okay.
Okay, I guess
I'll go
8.7.
Yeah.
No, I said 8.7 on that scale. I said 87.
Okay. I'll go 9.2, 9.5.
Sheesh. But at the same time, and I guess crucify me. Do numbers on meta user score hold that much weight? Because again, like I said, you either hate it or you love it.
Yeah, to us they don't, but to others, some people live and die by reviews. Some people don't go to a movie because they see the reviews and they're bad. Some people don't buy games because of that. And a lot of times people miss out on some gems, even though they've gotten some bad reviews.
No, that's 100%. There's been games that I've been like, oh, I might check this out, and I didn't get it because I've done my research on reviews. Now, here's one thing I want to say. I'm not saying don't play a game if the reviews are bad. I'm just saying, because if you really want to play a game, play it. Shit, I played Kingdom Hearts 3, and I love Kingdom Hearts. Hold on.
If it looks fine.
But let me say this. I think there's a degree of make an informed choice by looking at reviews, but that doesn't mean don't buy it just because the reviews say this. There might be one aspect about that game that's amazing and that you really want to try. So again, I always advocate think for yourself. Don't let other people fucking choose for you. Again, I think this is going to be a game that's going to grow in the community. I think it's going to be something that, again, people are kind of on the fence about, and then they start fucking with. The conversation starts going around. People start uploading more gameplay videos, bosses. Shit gets really intense. Because I'm the same way, man. There's certain series that I'll play and I'll tell everyone to fucking play it, and they won't play it. So it's.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like Bloodborne, right? Because like Bloodborne is like brutally hard, and I feel like that difficulty helps like facilitate a community. You know, it's like, oh, you know that shit was hard, right? And you beat it, like, oh, like you're a gamer.
Exactly.
So I feel like since Returnal is like that, it's just gonna have all the right things to become a cult classic.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it'll be a cult. I think it's gonna be a classic. I don't want to say cult classic. I think it's gonna have its time.
You just said it's gonna get a 9.2 user. You're telling me it's not gonna be could be a cult classic?
No, I didn't say cult classic. All I'm saying, classic means that hey, it's one of those things that falls in the grade. Like Boondock Saints is a cult. It's not a critically. It's one of those movies that just like there's a community of people that love it.
Yo,
you know
Cool Hand, you're kind of dropping in and out a little bit. Just want to tell you.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds like you're close to the mic 1 second and far the next second. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit on my side.
How do I sound now?
No, you sound perfect now. You sound way better.
All right, so in terms of, I think this is going to be a classic game. It's going to have its time in the sun on its own. You know what I mean? I think it's going to do great. I think it's going to be in its own right a good game. Classic. It's going to be perfect. It's going to have its moment in the sun.
Yeah. But yeah, Returnal. Try it out or don't try it out. If you like hard games, you should probably try this out. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah.
Let's.
Yeah, no difficulty slider either.
Exactly.
So you gotta get good.
You got to get good.
I'm talking about. I like those kind of games too.
Yeah, Rigo.
I got good, bro. Don't get it.
Cool Hand just found out what getting good is, by the way, within the past couple months. He played Bloodborne. I'll give it to him. You know, he over leveled himself a little bit. It's all good. You got to put on the training wheels.
That shit. Nobody told me don't do that. Don't do this.
Hey,
I mean, everyone does a strength build on their first run, so there's no shame in that.
There's no shame, man. There's no shame.
I do want to try the magic build next time.
I'm telling you. Actually, if you play when we eventually get to Dark Souls 3, I would say start off with a magic build. Don't do strength on. I mean, again, like there's more shit for strength in that game in Dark Souls, but I suggest try magic, man. It's super.
Yeah,
effective.
but in Bloodborne, you don't get magic to like mid game, so it's like a tough build to do.
Yeah, it really is. Let's talk before we get into all the number crunching and all that fun shit. Let's get into Jeff Ross is promoting the GoFundMe for Days Gone 2. And by the screenshot you guys are looking at here, it says 94,000. I think it's 1,000 more have happened in the last day. But shit, man, way to push interest and show, hey, Sony, you guys want to fucking okay this game? Guess what? The community's coming together and doing something about it.
95,693. Oh, 94, 95 now. It's still growing.
Yeah, it's going up every second. So my question is, does Sony give a fuck about this? I mean, they're going to have to. If they're seeing 100, let's say they hit the 150 mark, right? 200 is more on the unlikely side for me, but they hit 150,000. What does Sony do? They already have plans in, you know, they have a schedule, they have a timeline. Are they going to look at something like this and be like, hey, we'll eventually get to it? Or is this going to be like, hey, maybe we should refocus our efforts. Maybe we kind of overlooked Days Gone a little bit.
I think that ship has sailed because like there's like developers that are leaving because right now they made Bent Studio basically like a B team for Naughty Dog.
Yeah, but as we all know from that wasn't ever supposed to be like a permanent thing that that's kind of like an in between projects thing.
Yeah, but a lot of people quit because of that. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be harder. I mean, Days Gone wasn't critically successful. I mean, it made money. It made its money back.
This is a cult classic in its own right. Right? You have a subsect of people that are really for this game. It's a community that's growing.
Oh, hold on. Let me just swat you down, Little Fly. This is not a cult classic. Days Gone is not a cult classic. I'm sorry.
It's on the order. You can consider this a cult classic with how much people are really riding for this shit. Are you serious? It wasn't critically. Right. It wasn't critically acclaimed. It's one of those games that basically people are just now catching on to, and people hate it. People love it.
Okay. I gotta tell you something. And
look at what a cult classic is.
I'm just saying. You just said 2 seconds ago that Returnal would not be a
cult classic. No, I think it's going to be a classic in its own right. It's not in terms of cult status. Cult status meaning a sect of
fan
people
base
that are really for the game.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have its time in the sun. It's going to be a classic. I think it's going to receive cult status because it's an acclaimed game already. 86 on Meta. I feel like the user scores are going to be better. It's going to be better received. Serious?
Hey man, I'm just saying. I just saw a little flaw in the logic. I
need to look up the dictionary for a second and look up what a cult classic is next time.
Because a cult classic doesn't have to be the best reviewed or rated. There's some shitty ass movies out there.
Whole thing. And what is Days Gone? Days Gone was not greatly reviewed.
But maybe it wasn't that great of a game though.
But people are now saying you have 95,000 people that are trying to petition this game. It has cult status now.
Are they doing it because of all the drama surrounding that whole thing with Jeff Schreier?
I don't fucking know. I don't even care. But we're really going to sit here and think. We're really going to sit here and say it's not cult status at this point with how many people in the gaming community are really rioting and disappointed that.
No, because this ain't the first GoFundMe I've seen on any game that people wanted. a sequel
No
to.
one's saying that, but we're talking about how many people on Twitter in the gaming community have are really riding for this game. And I mean, and to a point for me, it's kind of dick riding, right? But that's cult.
That's what I
cult
think.
status.
That's what I think.
But
I think it's fake dick riding. I think there's people who sign this shit who've never played Days Gone in their life. They're just like, hey, Sony, I support it.
But and that might be the case, but at this point, it's achieved cult. It's achieved cult status.
What do y'all think in the comments or in the chat? Do y'all agree with me or do y'all agree with Cohen? Do you think Days Gone will be considered or is considered a cult classic? I like to have these little headbutts, man. True Virgil, hey, shout out to you for joining the show. Capona says, I agree with him. I think that ship has sailed too. Yeah, I mean, it's a little too late at this point.
Definitely a little too late.
They got other shit and plans for the next couple years. Whether Bend, and again, I don't think Bend is gonna remain a B team. Jeff Ross clearly said, no, like we're playing support right now because they have to. Other games need to come out. They need they need help where they can get it. But
yeah, and as a software developer, you just gotta live with it because that happens all the time. There's your project's not always gonna be the main priority, and sometimes you gotta go, do something else for a bit to help out other objectives. Like as a software developer, that happens to me all the time, and you just have to deal with it. It's okay.
Yeah, you just roll with the punches.
There, I will say. But can we say that this has made Sony kind of turn its head because that's a lot of signatures.
I think they will definitely notice. I think if you did a similar poll to bring SOCOM back, I think it would do the same thing. But again, as gamers, we're selfish. We're selfish and we just want games in general. So I personally signed this. Not that I actually really cared. I was just like, hey, I'll help support the cause.
I did not sign it.
Yeah, I did not sign that shit either. I didn't
But
play
that. Make something else.
Yeah, I didn't play the
There you go.
Make something else.
There you go.
I didn't didn't care to play the game.
There you go.
But I do like the
something
actor.
else.
Shout out to him in the Star Wars game.
Oh shit, that is the same guy.
You didn't know that?
No, I did not notice that. I'm just noticing that now. Interesting. Captain Crunch said no comment. AK, he was saying, bruh, what are y'all talking about?
He agrees with me.
He's saying, what are y'all talking about? We arguing over Days Gone being a cult classic. He's saying
he doesn't like his dad's fighting.
Nah, he's saying,
Oh, hell no!
keep that game over there.
Son of a bitch.
Keep that game over there. All right, man. Let's get in. Damn, I'm really avoiding these earning calls, man, because I don't feel like getting into the numbers right now.
2 hours and Days Gone in over 2 years. Holy shit!
There you go. And for that reason, I don't think it's a cult classic. Let's switch gears a little bit, right? Let's talk about Lost Soul Aside, right? This isn't a new game, still in development. I saw that there was some new gameplay, and I was like, shit, this is right up my alley. So instead of talking about some dumbass Twitter beef or something, non-conclusive news, I was like, let's not only take a look at this gameplay, because I think if you're and I'm kind of reaching here, Final Fantasy, Devil May Cry, or Kingdom Hearts fan, this game will be right up your alley. And shout out to Wooly Gamer. Me and him have talked about this in the DMs about how pumped we are for this game. Because right now there's a lot of other games kind of dominating the news cycle, and sometimes we got to remember, hey, this is still coming. What's that game? Sifu, right? The Kung Fu game. There's a lot of games that are still in development. Black Myth Wukong, that fire ass games that are still in development.
Look, I don't care what nobody says. We were the first podcast to cover it day of.
What, Lost Soul Aside or Black Myth?
Black Myth Wukong.
There
And
you go.
Lost Soul Aside. We talked about this shit first. No one talked about this game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes people get caught up with like just the Twitter shit. I don't know how else to explain it. People get caught up with the Twitter shit, and it's like, hey, we're all gamers at the end of the day. Let's appreciate dope ass games.
For me, this is still. I still think this is a cross between Final Fantasy and Devil May Cry.
I see it, but there are some aspects about this that are Kingdom Hearts. You know what the Kingdom Heart aspect is to me? It's not necessarily the fighting. It's more the like
cutscenes.
No, more like the how the character moves, right? Getting the fuck out of the way and just like kind of like that quick dash and like somewhat the fighting style, how you can like juggle people up and like you'll have these crazy combo finishers. That's what's Kingdom Hearts of it to me. Now, of course, these things overlap with Final Fantasy and Devil May Cry, but yeah, this is fucking dope to me. And guys, I know some of you guys might be looking at this and be like, okay, it looks cool. Give me another minute of gameplay. Just bear with me. It starts to get fucking crazy, especially if you like games like epic battles. Was that?
Do we know what the story's about yet?
No, I don't. I try not to get into stories with games too much. I try to just have a fresh take on it. But yeah, this is fucking dope.
You don't know what the game like is based on, not based on, but like what it's about in terms of like, oh, you're this character doing this, trying to get this and this and this.
No, I don't know. But Captain Crunch says this looks a little bit like Bayonetta. Yeah, it does. You know what? That's actually what I was trying to think about earlier. Yes, this game looks a lot like Bayonetta. It has a lot of like different vibes. This gives me some like original Final Fantasy 15 vibes. I'm talking about the Tetsuya Nomura version, which never came out, right? AKA Verum Rex from my Kingdom Hearts people, if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, the fighting, it just gets more epic. I love games that have like these fucking like crazy ass cutscenes as you like start knocking down the boss's health. It just crazy.
I mean, as far as story wise, what I was able to get from it so far was like these guys have like these companions that like can morph and like they can become these weapons, right? So like all these moves he's doing is his companion, like this with demon or whatever, like transforming, and like when he's running around, like his companion will stop being a sword and just start following him if you see. And they both have one. Like the guy has a gold one, he has a black one, and the black guy, and his companion is like, "Yo, let me take over your body, and I'll kill this guy right now." So I don't know. It seems like there's some interesting story elements to it.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for this.
And shout out to these indie Chinese studios, right?
Again,
so Wukong and now this.
Yeah,
these seem like straight heat.
They're putting up the pressure on these Western studios because I think what they're doing is they're saying, hey, they don't have too much to stand on in terms of like library, but they've been able to experience all these different genres. So I think, they're just taking their own spin on it. I mean, I could easily play Black Myth Wukong, and it just seems like a unique experience in its own. While yes, it may like this game may borrow certain concepts from games we already fucking love. It makes it its own thing, right? Yeah, like for the fact that you're seeing like right now all this like world destruction, he's getting shot at. It just lets me know from what I can see that the game's pretty varied. It's a crazy ass big world.
No, this shit. I mean, and like Captain Crunch said, China might be coming out with a cut. Is coming out the cut and maybe a juggernaut in this.
I agree.
Because so far, every game that I've seen, and what was the other game? It wasn't Lost Soul Aside, but it was one in which you played I guess it looked like a female protagonist. It had like, it gave me like a Metal Gear Solid vibe in a sense.
Metal Gear Solid vibe. Chinese developer as well?
Fighting like a big mech. Can't like
big mech.
Metal Gear Solid is not the.
Yeah, I was gonna say Metal Gear, and it's not like near.
It was like you were this protagonist. It was playing this big mech, and that was also by a Chinese developer. I forget the name of it, but it was around the same time you had shown me Lost Soul Aside.
Maybe we'll remember it, but yeah, all in all, guys, I just wanted to show you guys this gameplay. Thought it was dope. Thought it was something cool to share. It's a little different, a little off the path. But from here, I think we can move on to, let's get into these damn earnings calls.
Hold on, I think we should end on the earnings call. Let's
Yeah. Well, I already switched the earnings call, so let's just get it out the way. So as you may or may not seen, PlayStation had their earnings call. Again, their quarterly earnings call where they talk about numbers. And we got a lot of different things from these numbers. And we'll also get into the Xbox side too. Actually, $, because you're the dollar guy, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk dollars here, man. And I'll definitely chime in too. Let's talk about these numbers. So what are some things that you learned from, the numbers that Sony released?
Yeah, I mean, there are some really cool things from the numbers. I think like the total revenue PlayStation had was like double like the box office revenue of all 2020. So that was pretty cool. I think the PS5 is the fastest selling console by a bit. They showed that their digital downloads right now accounts for 65% of sales, which I thought was pretty interesting. More people are buying digital than physical these days.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a couple things to unpack. Like $sign said, so first off, PlayStation 4 has sold the most games of any console ever. And keep in mind, PS2 was a thing, right? That still sold more consoles, but this has sold the most software than any console in history. Not a big surprise, but definitely a big W. Also, we all know, and just barely, the PS5 in the same time period as the PS4 was released at the time has sold more. So it's the fastest selling console in history. A lot of great things. I mean, Sony's killing it right now, right? Mindshare is at the very fucking top. Let me kind of go into this report a little bit more. They made about $5 billion in gaming. I'm trying to separate it from like music and Sony Pictures and all. So yeah, the company reported $25 billion in revenue. PlayStation PS5 sales are fueling Sony's revenue growth, but games and network service granted a record $3.2 billion in operating profits thanks to some other factors. Yeah, cash cow Sony, man. This is
and
this is looking
2020
good.
was a good year.
Definitely. And
they got The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and a new console drop.
Yep. Among other games as well. Don't forget Final Fantasy, even though it's not a true exclusive. We got a lot of banger games last year, so yeah. It's been a great year for them, 2020, and they're starting off with some fucking heat. And it's only getting better from here, guys, so keep an eye out what's coming with on the PlayStation side. Let's talk.
And another thing that came from it, I forgot to mention, was the CFO said they're going to spend $200 million more this year than last year on first party development.
Exactly, which we all know that accounts for any new games coming. And there's a lot of games in development over there. They're still open to purchasing more studios. And I think that's going to be on both sides. I don't think Microsoft is done purchasing. I don't think Sony's done purchasing. As we all know, in the Spider-Man situation, all the money they made from Spider-Man, they used a chunk of that money to go and buy Insomniac. So I definitely see like a Blue Point acquisition sometime in the near future. But yeah, let's transition to Xbox, right? Shout out to my bots if I have any bots watching. Oh, Captain, I agree with you. He said they're killing it. It's not even fair. Nintendo is taking no prisoners either way. Yeah, because they know their business model is completely different from Xbox. PlayStation and Sony, they're living and dying by their exclusives. If Nintendo, let's live in a pretend world for a second before we get into Xbox, where Nintendo has no exclusives. They wouldn't survive. They wouldn't be around. If the Nintendo Switch was just a portable console that played third-party games, it would fail, right? Mario is what sells that console. Smash Bros is what sells that console. Animal Crossing is what sells that consoles. These exclusive AAA IPs are what sell these damn consoles. And Xbox is going by a different approach. They're leaning hard on services, which, to be honest, they kind of need to at this point because the hardware is not moving like how they would want it to. I saw an interview with what's his name? He used to run Xbox Studios, and they're asking him. It wasn't Donnie D. The name going to come to me in a second. Peter Jackson, I believe. And he was saying, what he'd be doing right now if he was Microsoft. And he said clearly, and he thought this back then during the 360 era when he was in charge. He said the first to 10 million wins. First to 10 million wins that console generation, right? It adds on to that mind share. Again, we're all looking at this from a console, a hardcore gaming fan perspective. A lot of the casuals don't really give a fuck, but they start to take notice on, like I said, the mind share, which we always talk about. But yeah, let's get into these Microsoft numbers. So they are seeing a lot of profit growth. I wouldn't necessarily say it's through Game Pass because, again, Microsoft doesn't report that. They just give a number and kind of lump everything up into there. But gaming is still up. 232% growth in hardware sales. I mean, you better. It's a fucking new generation. So that's not surprising. We all know the Xbox One X. I'm sorry, the Xbox One consoles were not selling well at the end of their life span. I mean, sales are really low. So the fact that we're seeing all this growth is to be expected during a new console generation. Unfortunately, again, we can't get too deep into the Microsoft numbers because they simply don't report everything. They kind of lump in their numbers.
Yeah, and last quarter they did report 18 million Game Pass subscribers, but weirdly enough, this quarter they did not report the number.
Yeah, and shout out to Mooch. Mooch has said many times, like, they choose when to report it. They report it at peaks. Now, as we all know, or if you don't know, the dollar deal that a lot of people took advantage of a couple years ago is coming up. So once all these dollar deals fall off and people actually everyone starts to have to pay $15 or $10 a month if they weren't before. I want to see what happens. Shit, I got a calendar reminder on May 4th. Cancel Game Pass. My free trial's up. And to be honest, I've used Game Pass twice, and there weren't any games in there that I really wanted to play. So that's just my personal opinion on PC Game Pass.
And one thing that fueled that massive Xbox content and services growth, that 65% year over year, is they did get 3 weeks of ZeniMax revenue.
Okay. Now, being that there wasn't any big games coming from ZeniMax around that time, do you think now that they're going to be earning, money from like legacy Bethesda titles, do you think that's going to be like somewhere where it helps them grow, or not necessarily?
I mean, it helps them turn a profit because Bethesda is a profitable company, so
Definitely.
it's just more money for them.
No, that's facts. Yeah, Cool Hand, you have any thoughts on this, man?
I don't care about Xbox. Nah,
You don't care, people.
the only thing that I can say about this is they're doing good within their ecosystem. This is all ecosystem based because they really have no original IPs
Go ahead.
in the past 600.
Go ahead. Turn up. Turn up, Cool
They
Hand.
don't have no original IPs in the past 600 days.
Get
so
'em.
this is definitely ecosystem driven, as you can tell. The Bethesda acquisition definitely helped boost their sales because it is on multiple platforms. So I mean, shit. It's still no Xbox for me until they get an original IP.
Okay, you heard it here first. And
Yeah.
But would you get an Xbox or maybe just get a PC? It's gonna come out on PC day and date.
Yeah, it'll come out PC day and day, so I'll get a better Xbox and get me a 2080 or a 3090. You know what I mean? Like shit.
there you go. And just to kind of respond to Capono in the chat, which dollar sign responded to him. It is a good setup to have a PC and a PS5. PC, you can play the Xbox games to the highest quality you can afford, and you have access to all the exclusive on the PS5. Because let's be real, if all these games are day and date on PC, there's no fucking way people would care about having to have a PS5. That's the whole allure of it, right? If you're on a last gen console, let's say, for example, they said, hey, the Halo 5, Halo 5, what the hell am I talking about? New Halo's coming out. It's not on the old systems, right? This is only for the Xbox Series X and S and PC. Well, if it's hard to get your hands on a new console, you can always get it on PC. PlayStation doesn't have that, where if you can't get a PS5, good luck playing Returnal. Good luck playing Ratchet. You can't. So, again, there's positives and negatives. They're running off of service. Arguably, the Xbox is cheaper to have than buying a fucking PC. I spent $3,000 on my PC. Like, that shit's not fun. Are people going to spend $3,000 on a PC just to play Xbox games? Fuck no. Right? Or to have Game Pass. These are people who are already PC players, right? That's who they're trying to get in. They're trying to hit that 1 billion gamers. How do you do it? You get PC players. You put Game Pass on other platforms.
Exactly. And see, that's the difference between, and like you said, Sony doesn't do that, man. Sony is, hey, they kind of do the same thing with Nintendo. You want to play our games, you can only play it here. You can only do it here.
Exactly.
They've let some things not fall through the cracks, but they've kind of blessed the PC nation with a couple games. And they're old games. They're old IPs that honestly people really shouldn't care about at this point, right? Like Horizon Zero Dawn, Days Gone, now coming to PC.
Yeah. It's kind of funny too. I haven't heard any Xbox guys complaining about where the hell is Final Fantasy on the Xbox. I'm still scratching my head. I'm like, shit, I thought it was a year exclusive. That year's been up. Where is that game on Xbox? But that just goes to show you that even timed exclusives do matter. They do matter. Because by the time you get it, you don't give a shit about it. Let me use Destiny 1. There were 3 guns in Destiny 1 that were exclusive to the PlayStation. There was an exclusive strike. That wasn't that good, arguably. But those guns, on the PlayStation side, if you were part of the Destiny forums, there was a gun, The Last Word and Thorn. No, The Last Word, I believe, was the exclusive. Right, Dawson?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I barely remember either. If you guys know in the chat, let me know. But I think it was. I know The Last Word was a Sony exclusive, a PlayStation exclusive gun. And as much as it sucks, to have been an Xbox player, if you wanted to have the new shit, which arguably, exclusive content, I see both sides. While it's shitty and it's advantageous if you own the system that gets to the shit. I don't even know what my fucking point was. I said Destiny, the PTSD kicked in, and You know how that
Yeah,
goes.
you went on a mean tangent.
I said Destiny and I went. It just brought me back to a dark place. Yeah, I don't know where I was
You're
going.
talking about exclusive content.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was saying how. Oh yeah, I saw a lot of people complaining back in the day. They did petitions, they did all this shit, right? And that's the thing. It's exclusive content. You buy this system so you can play the shit that's only on that system. Because let's say everyone had a PC.
It's like what the Xbox did with Call of Duty years ago.
Exactly. And people, it was the same thing. If you're on PlayStation and you wanted to fucking play zombie maps, you had to wait 3 fucking weeks. You had to wait a month, and the Xbox guys were clowning you. And that's just how gaming is, right? There's cycles where some systems are better, or so and so wins this generation, so and so wins that generation. But it's weird now because we're at a point where all of our games come with us. So it's like it's kind of harder to justify switching. Like, for example, if I was an Xbox guy, all my games are Xbox. I understand why it'd be hard to say, fuck, I'm going to give all my games up to buy this PlayStation. Or have both, right? If you have the luxury of buying both, buy both, 100%. But yeah, guys, maybe next quarter Microsoft will drop some more Game Pass numbers, some more actual numbers, monthly active users. Like, we need something to gauge how they're doing. I do want to say something before we switch topics. Colin Moriarty had a pretty controversial tweet I saw, and this is not the first time he's mentioned it, regarding Game Pass. Him basically saying, yo, Game Pass is not making them money. This is a long-term play. They are in the red for Game Pass, right? And as we talked about last episode, every game that's on Game Pass that's third party has a individual 1 out of 1 deal for that specific game. So some people might be getting a better deal. Or I'm saying might. Some people are getting better deals than other people depending on the game, right? And we all know third-party games don't live in Game Pass forever. It's essentially a service, kind of like a rental service. Play it as long as it's on there.
Yeah, it cycles in and out.
Yeah, and if it's leaving, they'll say, hey, you can buy this game at a reduced price because it was in Game Pass, which is good. But yeah, again,
I mean, that's part of that model, though. Like, they're trying to follow the Netflix model, where Netflix wasn't profitable for like 10 years. I think it finally became profitable like 2 years ago, which is insane.
Well, no,
like,
they're not profitable again because they spend so much money on original programming, and only some of them hit.
Yeah, and same thing with movies, man. They have a line of exclusive movies dropping every week. Some of them are hits, some of them are misses.
Exactly. So you kind of
too, with big actors.
Yeah,
but Xbox is playing that long game. They're just waiting to they just fill up the library while they work on their first party stuff, and hopefully by the time their first party stuff comes out, it's gonna be I need Game Pass so I can play this amazing game. But we'll see if they can pull it off.
Yeah,
and for me, I link in Game Pass how it is now, how the WWE network started. So when the network first started, it was big because you paid $10.99 a month, and every month you got a pay-per-view free. So basically,
hold on, there's pay-per-views every month?
Yeah, oh yeah, wrestling has pay-per-views every month, right? Culminating leading into their biggest pay-per-view, WrestleMania. So you would get the SummerSlams, the Backlashes, Survivor Series, and all this stuff. Like at the end of every month, they did a pay-per-view. So instead of paying $60 for what would be the one pay-per-view of that month, you know what I mean? You now pay a $10.99, which at this point they now it's no longer the WWE network, and they're on Peacock. But when they had the network, that was what it was, right? Then they had original content just coming in, and before there wasn't that. They were losing money because they didn't have that much content. All they had was the pay-per-views, and people were not paying the $60 premium of the pay-per-views. But then next thing you know, they had no other content behind it. Then they started filtering in. Then they started streaming more original content. They had their developmental brand NXT, which is like their big indie brand. Next thing you know, they started putting in old WrestleManias from the past, so people can go back and watch old episodes of Raw and SmackDown and things like that. Then they started adding documentaries.
They had to fill in that content basically.
Yeah, exactly. So they started building it, and so they started losing. And I feel like Game Pass is doing the same thing. It really is a long game.
Yeah. Well,
It really is.
I do want to address the chat. Captain Crunch said, so going back to my Destiny example, he said, I was very bitter about those Destiny PS4 exclusive. Exactly. It helped the PS4 brand immensely. Exactly, because perception matters, right? Just like it helped the Xbox brand when they had the Call of Duty Zombie map packs, right? It makes a difference. And then to go into your point, Coolhand, Captain Crunch also said I could see the Game Pass bubble bursting at some point. Because again, how sustainable is that? You gotta have Rockstar content. I think what would make the Game Pass model work, and hear me out here. I know they drop mediocre content there. I know they drop old games, right? And inclusive of day-and-date games. I think personally, Game Pass needs 2 major games. I'm talking 9 out of 10 Metacritic games a year. If you can do that, you're gonna keep people on Game Pass. You need to have blockbusters.
But that's where they're behind the 8 ball. Every game, and it starts with Halo, right? Because Halo's the one exclusive that we know about that's coming down the pike, right?
Yep.
So it starts with that. These games, because they've been so behind the 8 ball, they need to hit those scores. They need to get that kind of critical reception out the back, and it can't just happen one game hot, the other one cold. It needs to be hot consistently.
Exactly. It has to be.
In order for it to thrive, it needs to be hot, consistent.
I would say 2 bangers a year. One, Q1, Q2, one towards the end of the year before holiday season. Exclusive. You can't rely on third parties anymore. Xbox. Again, I hate to be an armchair analyst here, but yeah, we need to see more shit. I want to see.
And they did have some good moves here and there, right? When they did, Outriders, and that game had its moment in the sun, and then it feels.
Hate that game.
No, I'm saying it had its moments in the sun, and it fizzled out. Like, I enjoyed it, but I haven't played it, in a while.
Man, they fucked up. They had the mind share, right? With the demo. Everyone was on a demo. Everyone was like, yo, check out this demo. And then for the first week and a half, the servers barely worked.
Exactly.
Once it launched.
And it killed. And honestly, I'll say it killed interest in the game. And it was, when
it really did.
And when it was announced day and date for, Game Pass, it was a big move. In hindsight, it was a big move, and it really could have been better. But those, the game kind of hurt itself in that case.
Well, you put all your eggs in one basket. That's what you get.
And then they added MLB The Show, which was originally a PS exclusive, and they put that on Game Pass. And again, that had its moment in the sun, but not that many people play baseball games. Not as much as they play, Madden or 2K. You know what I'm saying?
I will say it's not that a lot of people don't buy it. It's just like with sports games. Not everyone buys it at launch, right? Not everyone. You have your people who buy 2K day one. You have those people, and then you have the people like me who buy that shit for half off on Black Friday every single year. Every single fucking year.
Usually I buy 2K when I have my boys coming over. I was like, oh shit, what do you need to do? I need to get the new 2K. That's the only time I ever buy it.
Exactly. So, you'd almost expect it to do way better, the fact that it's on Xbox and PlayStation, but there's some little salt in the mouth when you're playing the MLB The Show on Xbox and you see PlayStation ads in the stands. Not that most people give a fuck about that, but I'm just saying, from an Xbox gamer perspective, you're like, man, I don't want to see that shit. Kind of like how some people would be ignorant and be like, oh, I don't want fucking Halo on PlayStation. All you motherfuckers would take Halo on PlayStation.
Oh, lying. That's what I'm saying. You're lying if you say that.
Exactly.
You are hard if you say that.
So yeah, man. Anyways, you guys can hear 5 other podcasts about the same shit. So we won't keep digging Xbox's grave, man. I actually hope they do come back. I do hope that all these fucking studios they got, I hope this shit pans out. And you know what? To a degree, I believe it will.
Yeah, because that's the misconception, right? And I feel like when we get critical of Microsoft in general, people can kind of misconstrue that as hate. But the thing is, we want what feeds an industry is competition.
Oh, yeah.
Competition breeds innovation. We've said it time and time again. It is an old saying, and it's a saying that is as true as the Bible. You know what I mean? As true as the sky is blue, as true as money is green.
Hold on. Can I
That's
add
what
one
it
more?
is. Huh?
Can I just add one more to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
As true as aliens being real.
Yes.
And you know they are.
Yes.
You know they are.
Facts. We've can you imagine the people, by the way, can you imagine the people who are being called crazy for years and years and years?
And now the
like,
government's like,
yeah,
that's real. But that we'll save that for our other UFO podcast that y'all don't know about yet. I do want to say we are actually just coming up on 2 hours, so we're gonna have to wrap the show.
Can we end the show on just some? It's gaming news, but it's not traditional.
Real quick, because
right.
we're barking up that 2 hour street. And you know what, Cool Hand, I'll let you take the floor on this one.
Bet.
I can't. All right, I can't find the.
I already know you probably didn't make a scene for this.
No,
because you weren't
I
planning.
did, but then I think I put something else over it. All right, people are like, what the fuck? What's going on with the show? All right, go ahead, Cool Hand. I'll give the floor to you, man.
Yeah. So basically, this was Oscars week, and traditionally, we're not a movie podcast by any means, but what's cool about this sense of news, man, it's different because for the first time ever, a video game studio won an Oscar. Now, for those of you who don't know, Respawn and Oculus Studios, they both co-produced a documentary short, which was featured in the newest Medal of Honor game called Above and Beyond, which was featured on the Oculus. For those who don't know, a cool VR game, which I haven't checked out yet, but as soon as I get, VR 2.0, hopefully I can play that game when it comes on the PlayStation side. Fingers crossed. But it won an Oscar for best documentary short for something called Colette, which was featured in the game, and it's basically about it's a 24-minute film.
World War II.
Yeah, World War II. It was about a woman named a French resistance fighter named Colette Marine Catherine, who was a female who returned to Germany for the first time since the end of World War II to visit a concentration camp where Nazis killed her brother. And it's just it looked like a riveting piece. I haven't seen it. I'm gonna go see it after this podcast, and it's just really great to see that gaming has really crossed over in the sense, like, now instead it has broken the mold, and VR, as a new concept, they were able to do something interesting. And it's nice to see a classic game like Medal of Honor kind of get this kind of resurgence.
And keep in mind, guys, this is a documentary that was included with the video game, so it's not something you see too often. But now go ahead, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, so basically, for the first time ever, man, a video game company won an Oscar, man. I think that's really cool. Honestly, I wish I can say more about it because I didn't watch the Oscars, but when I saw this piece of news, man,
hashtag fuck the Oscars.
Yo, no one, and I guarantee you go on any other podcast, they will not talk about this piece of news, man. But this is right here on the Insomniacs podcast where we talk about gaming culture as a whole.
It ain't just games. It ain't just Game Pass. It ain't just what is it called? Damn, what does Mooch say? It ain't just gloom and doom up in this bitch. We talk about everything.
Everything.
Catch us next week where we talk about video game hentai girls. Oh shit, we're gonna get demonetized. Uh-oh. Yeah.
What have you got?
On that note, I think let's go ahead and start closing out the show. Shout out to everyone who pulled up to the show today. Captain Crunch, appreciate that, man. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, man, it was a fun show. A lot of things this week. Just some announcements. So next week, unfortunately, we're not going to have Cool Hand
Yes.
because he wants to go to California.
Bruh.
Like,
I'm gonna bring some back.
so you better bring me some shrubbery back, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry, money. I'm trying.
You know what I'm saying? Let me drop a bomb for that.
But I'm more excited about hitting the flea markets. But yeah, man,
No,
going to California next week, so I won't be able to make the podcast because I'm on vacation, meeting my girlfriend's family for the first time. So
hey, there you go, man. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, since we won't have Cool Hand, me and $sign are gonna go ahead and do another live stream. We're gonna figure out during the week, probably announce it on Twitter what we're gonna be live streaming. I might do a poll, maybe. We'll see. But we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna live stream next week. So the podcast will be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah.
well, you guys are still gonna be on. So
Yeah.
well,
We're gonna be on the channel. We're gonna be talking about some shit on there. But the actual Insomniacs podcast will be back in 2 weeks. And we're gonna add some little subtle upgrades as well to the show. So also look out for that. But yeah, it's always a pleasure doing this show for you guys, man. Make
love
sure
bumping
to.
heads.
Oh yeah, love bumping heads with this dude, man. It's nothing. That's what I look forward to all week, man. Just bumping heads with Cool Hand.
It's like Big Brother and Little Brother.
Yeah,
It really is.
But yo, if you're still in here, before you get the fuck out, just hit that motherfucking like button. I'd do anything for you, baby. I'll rub your feet. I'll cook your food. Just hit that. Just hit that like button for a brother, please. Just one more.
No.
Just one more like,
Oh, no.
please.
Oh no.
Just please.
Okay.
With that being said, let's get the fuck out of here. Everyone have a great weekend.
Hey, no,
What's up?
let the beat.
I'm gonna let the beat ride. I'm gonna let the beat ride a little bit before we get out of here. Cool Hand, real quick. What are you playing? Where can they find you? All that jazz.
Man, well, you guys can catch me here every Thursday on the Insomniacs podcast, the real Insomniacs podcast. Yeah. And when I come back from California in 10 days, I will be doing a Twitch stream on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/CoolHandCruz. You can also find me on Twitter at CoolHandCruz and on IG at CoolHandCruz.
It's on
you
the
heard
screen.
Insomniacs podcast. We out here.
Gra. $sign. Where can they find you besides SoundCloud? And what are you playing?
I mean, outside of my amazing SoundCloud page, you can find me
Bruh.
on Twitter _C-Dolla.
He finally changed
And I
his
mean,
Twitter.
right now I'm not really playing anything. Like I said, I've just been binging anime, but
Hentai.
I'm about to start playing some Returnal.
There you go. That's what we want to hear.
See what's good.
Wow, so you're a person who actually buys first-party games on his own platform? Wow. Never heard of that before. Y'all know where to find me every week right here on youtube.com/Nova Insomniac. Y'all can catch me on Twitter, but to be honest, I'm not as lit on Twitter as some of the other content creators, man. I just don't know. I'm like stuck. I'm like, should I participate in the drama? Should I just not? Should I just
tweet my
smoke my shit and do me? And I usually choose a third option. But yeah, guys, again, thanks for pulling up. I hope everyone has a great week. Pull up next week. I might be, fuck around and play a PS2 game. I don't know. But yeah, guys, it's always our pleasure. And you already know. Thanks for tuning in to the Insomniacs podcast. This has been another showing, another great week. We'll catch y'all next week. We need to drop them bombs on you.
Okay.
Don't sleep.
Don't sleep.